everybody, DeathsStalker here. For the last 2.5 years I've been running LED headlights on my RC51, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about them and how well they've been working. Like pretty much everyone else who's ever bought an RC51, you know they start with halogen headlights, which, you know, for their time were actually pretty good. But you know, lighting technology changes, and the next type of lights that actually came out were HIDs. And I actually had those on this bike for about 4 years. And the only thing I have to say about the HIDs is that they are brilliantly bright. They light up the whole road. The downside about the HIDs is they had these massive transformers, because essentially they're designed for cars, not for motorcycles. And they were kind of hard to squeeze into the side fairings of the bike. And anytime I wanted to work on the bike, like something simple like just an oil change, it was always a real hassle to get the fairings off and get these HID transformers out and then back in where they're supposed to go when you're done. So I actually dreaded doing any service on the bike. The other downside of the HIDs is when you turn them on, they were a very heavy drain on the battery, and you can actually hear the battery complaining whenever you turn these headlights on. And again, like I say, these were intended for cars, not for motorcycles. And what I noticed was that the LED technology had actually improved a lot, and now they're selling LED headlight kits for cars, but again, these things can be used on motorcycles. So you can actually see them here on the bike. And the interesting thing about the ones I bought, the actual light bulb unit itself was rotatable. So the reflectors you have on your bike, you could actually tune them to make them work properly with your with the reflector system inside the headlight unit. Some units don't come like this, so you actually have to look around to find ones that have that. I would put a link for the type I have, but of course the way the technology stuff changes, they stopped making the particular unit I have on my bike about 1.5 years ago, so they're not even available anymore. So I'll turn them on so you can see them. Now the first sound, of course, you're hearing is a fuel pump for the RC51. And that's just the standard beam, and that is the high beam. I'm going to bring the camera around so you can actually see in here. And this particular unit has a cooling fan to cool the LED headlights. There are two types. There are the cooling fan types, and then there's the heatsink type. I'll put a picture of what they look like. The heatsink just is a little strip of some aluminum wiring to help draw the heat out of the lighting units. And I wouldn't have a problem using them in the car, but the last thing I want to have is things dangling around here where you have your forks and your steering. So you can hear by the sound of the fans, they're actually fairly quiet. With the motor running, you can't hear them at all. You also notice that I don't have the rubber rain seals that they use normally for the halogen headlights. All the reviews I've read is that these cooling fan units generally are pretty reliable and are not bothered too much by wet weather. I myself wouldn't take them out in a heavy downpour or pouring rain or snow or whatnot. But if you get caught in the odd storm here and there, they have continued to work. You notice the ones I have here are blue. They came out originally in black, blue, silver, or red, and I just happened to pick blue because I'm using blue as an accent on my bike. But they all basically work the same. So this is a transformer that you use to power these lights, and it is supposed to be a plug-and-play system, where I would normally just plug it right into the socket that you would normally use for the halogen headlights. However, this is made in China, and even though I ordered the one that was supposed to be correct for my motorcycle and its connections, it came with a connector that wasn't even close. So I actually had to build up a little jumper to make it work from the plug that they provided to hook up to the plug to my bike. It was a slight annoyance, and it hasn't had any problems with it, but it's just one of the things you have to be aware of. These kits are not expensive, and sometimes the quality can be sort of iffy. but I've talked to people who bought other kits from the same company and the connectors were right. So just the sort of things that happen. So the only issue you actually have with these units is installing them or taking them out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the front clip off the bike so I can show you how to install them and how to take them off. So here, as you can see it, this is the actual LED unit right there. Now these white wires, ignore them. They're for a set of angel eyes the bike had a long time ago, and I don't actually use them anymore, so they're not being powered on. So you can see the boot that would normally protect your headlights from the weather are not on here. You could install them, but you have to realize this is actually drawing air to cool the LED headlights, so you'd actually have to cut an opening large enough to let these things fit in. And you can also see, like, this is the clip here that you normally would have your headlights mounted on. Trying to get this wire around these motors while it was on the bike, it was a nightmare. So I just basically took the whole nose piece off, put it in the ground, and then it only took a minute or two with a pair of pliers to push it over and then to sort of bend it over. And once it got over, it just clipped back in where it was supposed to go. So it's a pain to put them in, but like I say, it's been 2.5 years and I haven't had a problem with them. So as far as the light projection of these lights, they are significantly better than halogen headlights. Probably maybe 60 to 70% of what you normally get with an HID, but the installation is a lot easier than the HIDs, which actually require dedicated wiring to the battery, where the LEDs essentially plug right into the existing harnesses, providing, of course, the manufacturer provided the correct plugs at the time. So overall, I'm actually happy with these lights, and if these lights ever did fail and I had to replace them, I wouldn't think twice about replacing them with a similar unit. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'd be happy to answer them. DeathsStalker signing off.